Ladies and gentlemen, friends and family, members of the community, thank you for coming here today for this ceremony. Unfortunately, we do not meet on the best terms. Rather than welcoming a new member into the game world and the game mode world of Marvel Future Fight, we are here in fact today to say goodbye to one of the game modes in Marvel Future Fight. So please join me in a short prayer for the Alliance Raid. It was with us for almost 1 year, and in that time, nothing was changed. In that time, patch after patch, update after update was released with not even a second or third thought given to Alliance Raid. Were any new bosses added? Hell no. Were any of the rewards ever tweaked or modified or improved or even decreased? Hell no. Was the cost to enter Alliance Raid, which was immediately, a major complaint of the community, was that ever addressed? No. Netmarble listened to none of our requests, and now this game mode is going to die. What am I talking about? Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to the channel. It's Cynicalex. And today I want to talk about Alliance Raid closure, because we got this notice last night and it's actually happening. The Alliance Raid content will be ending in the upcoming update. Prior to its end, for connection stabilization, there will be a server patch which will suspend access to Alliance Raid. So if you've opened it before the server patch, you can play during the server patch, but then once the patch ends, you will not be able to enter the raid anymore and it will be gone, erased from the game forever. So for those of you that have been playing Marvel Future Fight from today and back 11 months ago, you were a part of the history of the game because you were possibly, I don't know, a lot of people actually weren't playing it, but those of you that were playing Alliance Raid, you will be able to remember to immortalize the legacy of a pretty bad, pretty boring game mode. Rewards that were obtained through the Alliance Raid, this is actually great, will now be obtainable through the improved Alliance attendance system check-in. For more details, please refer to the upcoming update details notice. So that would mean the patch notes that we're going to get probably in about a week and 3 days, so in about 10 days on July 1st, for the Spider-Man Far From Home update. Those are the patches that they're talking about. They're still more than a week away. Make sure to keep an eye out for more details through update details, which are the patch notes. Apologies to those enjoying the Alliance Raid. I don't think there's anyone that you need to apologize to, Marvel Future Fight, because the only people that you have to feel sorry for are the developers who you told to create this content in the first place. And now I want to address this because there is actually a lot of different questions that you might come up with based on them actually closing down a game mode. So first of all, what were we actually getting from Alliance Raid? Well, good thing is it hasn't changed. The rewards have literally never changed from Alliance Raid, and so every week you're getting about 1 million gold, 1,050,000. You're getting some Alliance XP, you're getting some Alliance Store XP, and then you're getting those random boxes. Now the random boxes that you get will differ based on whether you're playing normal, easy, or hard, and the boss doesn't matter at all, but it changes the requirements a small bit. But in general, the rewards range from really garbage, like 60 gear up kits, to actually really good. You can get like 200 Norn Stones of Chaos, you can get like 5-star and possibly 6-star Uru. There are some really great rewards, but it's obviously quite random. Now, to illustrate a little bit of gameplay for those of you that haven't been playing Alliance Raid for a long time, and to give us one final look at Alliance Raid before it shuts down, I'm going to go through it really simply. Now, the actual restrictions on who you can play as, this one is a supervillain male day. I think the raid requirements are actually not bad. They're not quite specific enough, and they're not quite restrictive enough to make you play with lesser played characters, and they don't even have days where they force you to play with specific characters like you have with Villain Siege, but still it's better than zero requirements. They put a small amount of effort in there, but then you realize how easy the actual stage is. Now this is a tier 3 Thanos, but you can see the boss has just over 2 million health and basically 0 defense, so if you have a strong build even at tier 2, you can finish this fight in like 10 seconds or less. It's really an absolute joke. And that was one of the issues that I pointed out 11 months ago when this update landed and when this game mode was released in Marvel Future Fight. So we're going to cover the rewards right here. This is you know, a pretty decent reward actually. I get a refund on my my cost for entering, because it costs 20 alliance tokens and it's 200,000. So if you go over here and you do the math and you donate 200,000 gold, you get 20 alliance tokens. So I basically just got a refund. Now they're going to be improving or they're going to be improving the existing check-in to assimilate the rewards from the Alliance raid. I'm presuming it's just the gold and the Alliance store XP and the Alliance level XP, because right now the Alliance check-in, as you can see, it just gives you 5 mementos. So I think they're going to have, my guess is a 30-day Alliance check-in reward, kind of like the 30-day login reward. And so you can imagine this sort of checkerboard, but for every day that you log in, you get a different reward, some of them going to yourself in the form of gold, some of them going to the Alliance in the form of Alliance XP and Alliance store XP. And then if you log in for the full 30 days, of course the rewards will get better, and you'll get that full reward of 1,000,000 gold. That's great, because all you have to do is press a button. And literally, with Alliance Raid, you were pressing like maybe 10 or so buttons. You were pressing 1 to get into the raid, you were pressing 1 to select the difficulty, you were pressing 3 buttons to select your team, you're pressing a 4th button to load the stage, and then you're pressing a few buttons on the skills to kill the boss, and it's over. It was a brain-dead easy game mode with very little thought put into it, with very sort of weird rewards in the sense that they're completely random. And so, you know, 6 days out of 10 you'd get rewards that were good to bad, mediocre, and then a couple of days you get decent rewards, then one day you'd get really good rewards. But it was just never consistent enough to make any sense. And so people just stopped talking about Alliance Raid. I never made another video about it. Nobody really cared. It was way too easy and the rewards were way too random. And then it just dropped out of favor, and no one's surprised. I'm not surprised that they're cutting loose Alliance Raid and they're getting rid of the game mode, because it had basically turned into a chore. And you can see the fact that they're taking all the rewards from Alliance Raid and putting them into a one-button move, check-in, means that that's probably what they thought of the game mode. But now is the more important part. What can Netmarble learn from Alliance Raid? Because, you know, this is pretty much admittedly a mistake. They're admitting that they made a mistake 11 months ago, probably more than a year ago. They developed this game mode, they wasted time developing it, and it was a complete flop. That sucks, because there's hard work involved from the developers, and it wasn't something that the community enjoyed, and it's really hard. You can think of these people as creative types, you know, like artists, like musicians, and they're making content, and their audience, which is us, we're not liking it. It's like, you know, some guy releases a new song, Lil Nas X releases a new song, everybody listens to it and they're like, nah, this is trash, we don't like this, we're not going to listen to this again. And so all that work that you didn't see him do, but he did behind the scenes in the recording studio, making the song, mixing it, whatever, the people helping him, producers, etc., all of that work just gets flushed down the toilet. So all of this work is essentially being flushed down the toilet. It just took 11 months for the toilet to finally flush. So with that being said, I really think that Netmarble needs to pay attention. They have an amazing opportunity here to rectify this situation, to make the next game mode that they add a much better version of Alliance Raid, or even something more spectacular than that, and I hope that they do. And I hope that the fact that they're closing Alliance Raid means that they're looking at, you know, cutting down some of the bloat on the game modes and making the game leaner, but then adding some sort of juicy new content, because we definitely need a new piece of content. We need something that gives rewards, that encourages players to come back day after day, and we need something that we can play with other people. Those are the two key ingredients I think right now that we are missing, because you have a game mode like GBR, and I think in a lot of ways, I think Giant Boss Raid and World Event signaled the end of Alliance Raid. World Event is a more fun version of Alliance Raid, and it's a single player game mode just like Alliance Raid, so people play it, but the rewards are just whatever. Giant Boss Raid, the rewards are not that great, but you can play with other people, so it's a truer version of Alliance Raid, because you can actually play with your Alliance members, and you can even create a lobby and then specifically invite your Alliance members. So I'm pretty sure Giant Boss Raid is what Alliance Raid was supposed to be, but they just didn't have the time, they didn't have the resources, or they just didn't have the idea to do so. Now, with that being said, there are still obviously flaws in these game modes, and that's true as well for Alliance Raid. So it's something that Netmarble should really focus on with their next game mode. Whether they're going to be adding a stage to Giant Boss Raid to improve the rewards there and to create different reward schemes, or whether they're going to be creating a whole new game mode, or whether they're going to be reworking an existing game mode like Giant Boss Invasion, World Boss Invasion, or Alliance Battle, or Timeline Battle, or Battle World, or whatever, or Alliance Conquest. Whether they're adding a new game mode or reworking an existing game mode, they really need to realize what people are most passionate about. And I think the best example is obviously World Boss. World Boss and World Boss Ultimate are challenging single-player contents with rewarding, rewards. The payout is rewarding. You get materials that you need to build up characters. So giving us random rewards is obviously not going to make people excited, and that's why no one likes Shadowland Plus, because the rewards are random. Yes, those rewards do help you build up your roster, but they're random, so you can't really focus on what you're doing, and your inventory just starts getting full of shit that you think you need, but you're not quite sure where it goes. So rather than giving us random white puzzle pieces that we're like, I need this for the final puzzle, but it's a white piece, it's a blank color, I don't really know where it goes. Give us puzzle pieces that we know exactly where they go. CCF, Titan component packs, Titan records, those kind of black antimatter, those rewards, we know exactly where they go. They go to building up characters. Now, Giant Boss Raid does technically give us rewards that we know where they go, but the problem with the rewards is that they don't provide enough progression. The vast majority of the time you only get a small amount of gold, which is really not enough to warrant playing this game mode frequently, and then you get small number of type enhancement kits, and you can't combine type enhancement kits to make larger ones of a greater star value. So whereas people will play story missions over and over again to grind Uru, or they'll play other missions to grind, obelisks, a lot of people just stop playing Giant Boss Raid as well because they know they're just going to get a bunch of 1-star type enhancement kits, which they have plenty of, and they're not going to need them. So Netmarble really needs to zero in on this two-pronged approach. They need to build a game mode that allows us to play with other people in a challenging environment that gives specific rewards. It doesn't have to be the same reward every single day. The rewards can rotate through good ones and bad ones, but giving a random reward is not going to cut it. It's barely cutting it in the existing game modes. It's not cutting it anymore in new game modes. And those rewards, the items that we get, the resources that we get, they need to be clearly usable to upgrade characters in a way that feels as though we are progressing. Don't just keep dumping the same materials that we can't use over and over and over again. For example, if they had a new Giant Boss Raid and you dropped Mcron shards, that's an example of a really bad reward, because on the one hand, it's obvious where we need to use them. We need to use them to upgrade X-Men, but on the other hand, there's a cap on these materials, so there's really not a good way for us to spend them consistently. Conversely, giving out very specific rewards that players need, even if it's just one reward at a time, one day it's just Nornstones, regular fucking Nornstones. I don't want them, but other players definitely do need them. They'll be playing that stuff. Another day it's just black antimatter. Another day it's just phoenix feathers, etc. There are different situations that they can do to, there are different ways that they can tackle this problem, but that was really one of the major issues of Alliance Raid. It's that the game mode just didn't give rewards that were, first of all, you couldn't count on the rewards because they were random, but then on top of that, 9 times out of 10, they were not rewards that were valuable enough for the time spent. And the time spent was literally less than a minute, which shows you how garbage the rewards have to be for that to be the case. So I really think that Netmarble needs to listen to the community and needs to look at which game modes work. Shadowland Stage 1 to 30 is amazing because it gives you set rewards, and you can plan, okay, I need these specific rewards, I need comic cards, I need obelisks, so you select the path that you're taking, and you just select all the comic cards or all the obelisks as you're moving up stages. So you get your 3-star obelisk, your 4-star obelisk, your 5-star obelisk, your 6-star obelisk, or another week you want ISO, so you take the ISO on that path. You get to choose the rewards that you get, and the rewards that you get clearly help you build up characters. That's why everyone loves Shadowland Stages 1 to 30. Stages 31 and up is a big fucking waste of time because you don't know what you're getting. So you feel as though you're just playing, you're running through a forest with your eyes closed. And when you exit the forest, you look down and you've got all these items in your hands, but you don't know what to do with them because they're random and you don't need some of them. Maybe you don't even need half of them. And then you're looking, you're saying to yourself, well, why did I spend 2 hours running through this forest playing Shadowland Plus? I could have been doing something else. And that's not the kind of game mode you want to make. So the rewards need to be clear. The rewards need to be items that we actually need for our characters. You know, just giving type enhancement kits is not a good reward, because what if people don't want to play PvP? What if they don't care about type enhancement kits? Then they're never going to play GBR. And you want everyone to play GBR because you guys took the time to develop the game mode. So why not cycle the rewards? You already cycle the rewards in terms of dropping different type enhancement kits. Why don't you just drop those kits 3 or 4 days out of the week, and then another 3 days out of the week you drop something else that isn't type enhancement kits, like Uru or comic cards or whatever. That doesn't hurt anyone. But right now you're hurting the entire community who doesn't want type enhancement kits because they're just completely ignoring this game mode, and then your metrics for this game mode suck. And then when Marvel looks at it and they're like, okay, well, you invested all this time on Giant Boss Raid, is the community playing it? And you're like, fuck, they're not playing it. Well, I wonder why, genius, because you've boxed them in and forced them to get only one item from playing. Why is co-op fun? I mean, you got your VIP level, of course, but you get different rewards. Sometimes you get crypt bios, sometimes you get extra gold, but you get rewards that you actually need. Even if you don't get CTPs from World Boss, you're still getting those base rewards that you need to progress. Even if you don't get good rewards from Villain Siege, i.e. in those 3 bonus slots you don't get gold or extra bios, even if you get garbage extra rewards, you're always getting chaos tokens. And you can always use those chaos tokens on real, tangible rewards, and then you can choose how you spend those rewards. So you can get specific bios, you can get random bios, you can get obelisks, you can get ISOs, or you can get Nornstones. And they also had, before, they were selling I think Black Antimatter and Chaos Nornstones as like a one-time purchase, but it's gone now because I've already purchased it. So with that being said, let me just recap one more time. The rewards for whatever game mode is going to take over for Alliance Raid, or whatever existing game mode is going to be reworked to take the place of Alliance Raid, the content needs to be cooperative. We need to be able to play with other people, inviting our friends and or our Alliance members. It needs to be content that gives rewards that are rewards to help us progress, and rewards that are obvious for progression, not just shoehorned into one type of progression. And then it needs to be challenging. That's the last one. I didn't harp on it too much, but it needs to be challenging. A lot of the reason why people didn't play Alliance Raid is because it was just stupidly easy, and it was just boring. And you don't want easy, boring content, because it really betrays the effort that the devs put into developing it in the first place, when you tune everything to be, you know, completable by a baby who's blindfolded after a month playing this game. So with that being said, let me know what you guys think of the death of Alliance Raid. Let me know what you think is coming next, or which game mode you think they should rework. Subscribe if you enjoy the content and you want to support me. And of course, if you like what you see, I hope to see you again tomorrow. Take care.